Macros, Mindset, and Muscles.
I'm Coach James.
And I'm Coach Brittany.
We're here to give you the truth about health and fitness.
No gimmicks, no bullshit, just facts.
All right, welcome back to our fourth episode, and it's going to be workout terminology, aka the gym language.
Which is great because, like, when a lot of people are starting their workouts, they don't really necessarily know what everything means. I actually get this a lot from beginner clients. Like, what's a rep? What's a set? And it sounds silly, but people just starting out don't understand the terms that we have come to know.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking to somebody else that's been in the gym for a while, I mean, it's very common, but if you're new to the game, these can be confusing. So we're going to go over these today, some of the basics, and Brittany's going to hit us off with that one. So someone gave us some suggestions not to do a sheet. So now we have a PowerPoint on both laptops, and this is going to be very educational, very structured. And so we'll see how it goes. I guess you can't hear the computer, so this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, you could totally hear us bouncing paper back and forth, but yeah. It's cool, whatever.
Yeah, you can tell we went to high school and stuff in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah, we didn't have text messages back then. We passed notes folded in little triangles. You remember that?
Oh my gosh. And then you had to tap the little person hey, pass this to so-and-so.
Yeah, don't let the teacher say it.
Oh my God, when they would take it.
And then they read it in front of the whole class. These kids don't even know that type of humiliation. God forbid you were talking about something that, you really shouldn't have been talking about in school.
The old school text message, aka paper and pen. I like it.
All right. So, anyways, we're going to start off.
We're old. Wait a minute. We're old. Old.
Speak for yourself. I am still in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Anyways, so when you get a workout program from your coach, what do these things mean? That's where we're going to start. So we're going to start off with the basics, reps and sets.
Reps.
So reps, usually a rep and set will be written okay, you're going to do squats, 3 by 10.
Right. I mean, reps is just short for repetition, to do it again.
Which is how many times you're going to repeat that exercise.
Exactly.
So if you have exercise written as 3 by 10, that means that you're going to do the exercise 10 times before you rest.
Exactly.
So that's a rep. The sets would be the leading number. So if you have 3 by 10, you're going to do 3 groupings of those exercises. So 3 sets of 10, 3 by 10.
Exactly.
Right, pretty easy.
It is pretty easy. So the next one's going to be a little bit more complicated, and that's going to be tempo. Just like in music, tempo. This is the rate and the speed that you're doing this exercise.
So how fast, how slow. And it's usually also written in your programming. So if you have a set that says 3 by 10 tempo 4010, then you know that the tempo is going to be 4 seconds down into the movement. So if you're doing a squat, for example, and the tempo is 4010, you're going to lower into the movement at 4 seconds. So 4-second lowering phase. The 0 is how long you're going to pause for, which is 0 seconds. The 1 is coming back up out of the movement. So 1 second up, it's a quick burst from the bottom. And then the last number is how long you're going to pause at the top of the movement before starting the next rep, which is 0. That tempo, that's just an example. Those numbers can be different. They could be 4121, etc. They can be any number that your coach wants them to be.
Right. So the tempo will change depending on what your goal is, whether it's you're training for strength or endurance or shooting for just muscle growth. So that'll all be determined by your coach, and yeah. So what?
Tempo adding also, you might hear it as time under tension. So that's another term that you might hear, which is also tempo.
Good point.
Right?
Thank you. I like that one. All right, so our next term is going to be rest. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Your rest is the time that you are resting in between your sets, and it is very important. If you're going for strength, a lot of times you'll have a higher rest period. Endurance training or for hypertrophy. Did I say that wrong? Hypertrophy.
Hypertrophy.
I never can say that right.
I'm so glad that I showed up today because you're just going to do all the talking. So I
Look,
could just
you've
took a
given
nap.
me like 1,800 milligrams of caffeine and expect me to like have all my words formed.
It's okay. I'm just here to support you. This is your podcast. Go ahead. Go for it. Finish.
Well, thank you for tuning in to James's podcast. All right, so we've discussed reps and sets and tempo. Now we're resting. We're just resting. Superset. Yeah, do you need to delete all that?
No, we're going to keep going. Okay?
No, we're not.
Yes, we are. Superset. So a superset
is anything that Brittany does.
Oh my gosh, it is not.
Super.
Shut your mouth.
Superset.
So a superset is a set that contains 2 exercises. So typically they'll work opposite muscle groups or different parts of the muscle that you're working. In order to do the superset, you'll do all the reps of the first exercise. You will not rest after the last exercise or after the last rep of that exercise. Then you will go to the second exercise, complete all the reps listed for that one, and then you will rest before repeating the next set.
Yeah, it's intense. It's very good for when you're short on time.
Burning out, getting that muscle burn, big lactic acid buildup.
The pump. Your arms will be swole up, or whatever muscle group you're working will definitely be swole up. It is a great way of training, and I love doing supersets.
Yep, I love doing supersets too, and we both use them in our clients' programming.
Definitely, at least at some point in the program. I mean, not everything for the day is ever going to be supersets, but definitely a good way to end your workouts.
Mm-hmm. And touching on that a little further, a giant set is also the same thing as a superset. You just have 3 or more exercises in that set.
Yeah, so in short, I mean, it's 2 exercises that you're going to do back to back without rest until you complete it. Mm-hmm. All right.
Thanks for summing that up for us.
Well, I mean, you had this really long explanation. I mean, it sounded really good, but, it needs to be dumbed down a little bit, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're here.
I'm fluent in dumbing. All right. So HIIT, 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 high interval.
James
Please delete that. High intensity interval training. I gotta lay off the caffeine. Like, I can't even read right.
I'm gonna go ahead and let James take this one because he's super familiar with it. So
yeah, I'm very familiar that I hate it. It is not my type of training.
I had James do a Tabata with me one time over the summer, and he legit almost died.
I think I threw up.
No, you almost threw up, and you wouldn't allow me to talk to you for like 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah, because I was like, it's too soon. It's too soon. It's too much for me.
Like, I really just don't like you right now.
It's just not my type of training. My cardio is non-existent. My cardio is more the lists.
We're not even done talking about HIIT yet, so hold up, okay? We're going to explain further what it is.
Okay, well, that was a good lead into it, though, so just come back to me and I'll say that one more time.
Okay, so don't forget.
Okay.
Anyway, so high-intensity interval training. These are short sessions, usually 4 to 20, maybe 30 minutes, depending on the person. And they're done in intervals, obviously, hence the interval in the name. So intervals typically like 10 to 30 seconds with short periods of rest. On to you. Go ahead.
I don't remember how I said it last time, but this time, my type of cardio is list. I'm not into the high-intensity interval training. The low-intensity, steady-state cardio is more my speed. I've had knee injuries. I've had a lot of shoulder, hip, broken ankles. So where I just keep my heart rate at a steady rate for an extended period of time. That's it. So it's like a quick walk, an up-paced walk, or on a treadmill or outside.
Yeah, well, these are like low impact activities. So, you you're not putting a lot of stress on your body. It's easy to recover from, but it's helping raise your NEAT,
Right.
your non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
You're neat.
Anywho, on to other things. So 1 RM, and this isn't just specific to a 1 RM. It can be a 3 RM, a 5 RM, a 10 RM, et cetera, et cetera. You get the picture, but basically it is whatever that number is, rep max. So 1 RM is 1 rep max. This is how much weight maximum you can lift for whatever the number rep is.
Yeah, so like when somebody's like, bro, how much can you bench?
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
talking about their 1 rep max.
How much can you squat?
Yeah.
How much can you squat?
I could squat you.
Fair enough. That's impressive. I've been eating a lot lately. Yeah, the 1 rep max. Yeah, that's about it.
So moving on, also a PR is something that you'll hear, like, oh, I got a PR in the gym, or I PR'd a race, or something like that. That's a personal record. It's your personal best. You are your only competition in the gym, and PRs are a great way to measure progress that has nothing to do with the scale.
Right, and not comparing yourself to somebody else. Somebody may be able to lift this amount or do this for that long. We're always striving to get to our personal best, and so those PRs are is when you beat your previous numbers.
Is that all you got?
That's about it. But yeah.
No, okay.
That's my PR.
That's your PR.
That's my personal record right there.
Okay, moving on to the next. DOMS.
You're dumb.
Bruh.
My bad. All right, yeah, DOMS. So delayed onset muscle soreness.
So this isn't the soreness that occurs right after your workout. This is the soreness that comes in, 24 to 48 hours later. It's common. It's normal. Especially when you're starting a new program or you're
doing legs. That's literally when anybody says DOMS, like that's all I think of is like doing legs. Like I'll do legs, I'm like they're weak right afterwards. The next day I'm like, oh man, my legs must really be strong because I'm not even sore. The day after that though, like I can't get out of bed. I mean, it just hits me like a brick, and then I'm sore till the end of the week, and then it finally wears off.
Just in time for you to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. So legs are awesome for DOMS.
So DOMS, again, touching further, it's that soreness that takes place later. It's not right after.
Right. It's normal. It happens, especially doing those large muscle groups like that, or when you're starting a fitness program.
Yep. Changes in fitness program too. So not just starting a new program, but like if you're already working out and then your workout plan changes, it's common to experience DOMS at the beginning of that. But you shouldn't be sore for like extended periods of time, like after the first couple of weeks.
Right. I mean, at first it's normal with the lactic acid buildup. I mean, it's going to happen, but that will fade. Anyway, all right. Speaking of being sore, our next term is going to be drop sets.
Well, since James loves drop sets so much, I'm going to let him explain them.
All right, so a drop set, a lot of times it'll be the last of these sets. So out of like a set of 3, it'll probably be that third one. And you start off at a certain weight, and you do a targeted amount of reps at that weight or to failure. And at that point, you're going to lower the weight down and continue doing the reps. This may be a 3 drop set, so you may do that 3 times. And the point of a drop set is to completely fatigue and tear those muscle fibers to the max. This is not something you were going to do at the beginning of a workout. This is going to be the last thing you do to just completely annihilate that muscle.
Which is also another way to burn out at the end.
Oh, burnout. That's a good word. That's a good term. Let's do that one.
Well, we're going to talk about failure first. So, like,
I'm an expert in failure. So I've got 30-some years of experience with this one.
Well, you're not the only one. Let's not make it all about James.
I'm totally better at failing than you.
Okay, we'll just agree to disagree.
Okay.
But to failure. So we've talked about how a plan may be written as, 3 sets of 10 or 3 sets of 12. You might also get something that says X amount of sets to failure. This means that you're going to complete each of those sets to failure. You're not going to be able to push out any more. Well, you might be able to push out 1 or 2 more, but that's the max. You shouldn't be left feeling like you can do 5 to 10 more reps. That's not failure.
Yeah, I mean, failure is, there's a big difference in, this is not feeling good, and your mind saying it's time to stop, versus muscle failure. So it is literally when your muscles will not move that weight anymore.
So yeah, not only like muscle failure, but like when your form gets compromised, that's what failure is. So if you're having to swing your back to do a bicep curl or anything similar, then you're at failure already because your form is jacked up.
I mean, we also see people that they're sitting there and they're swinging the way, they're doing all that stuff except for having proper form. And without proper form, you're not working that muscle the way that that you want to do.
Which that's a whole nother conversation.
Whole nother conversation. Oh, and circuit training. Brittany loves circuit training.
So I actually do use circuits with my clients a lot, especially when they're short on time. So a circuit is like a workout. It's a group of exercises that you're doing with like minimal rest periods in between. So you might have, this is just an example, you might have 6 different exercises and you go from one to the next in a circuit style.
Wow. You're a genius. Like, I feel enlightened. Like, you just brighten my whole perspective on
if I had
circuit
something
training.
to throw at your face right now, I would.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I would.
Yeah, circuit training, I mean, it's 6 different exercises and you go to them back to back with very minimum rest. It's great for endurance training, keeping your heart rate very high.
I mean, that's not necessarily true about the rest, though. You can rest in between, but you're going from one station to the next instead of completing all 3 sets at one and moving on.
Right, but I mean, you're going back to back.
Your rest period is generally what you're taking from one to the next. So if you have to walk from this area to the next area, that would be
okay. So here we go. You have one exercise and you complete it, and you have a short rest to move from that exercise to the next. And you do this
until you get to the last exercise.
And then you have a longer rest period at that one.
And then you complete the next round.
I'm so glad I was here to teach you this. So with circuit,
he can't even look me in the eyes when he says that. He's looking down at the table.
If y'all could see how upset she is that I said that, the vein in her head looks like a water hose right now. I mean, her blood pressure's got to be at least 200 over 120 right now. Because I'm not very big into circuit training personally, but it's great for clients.
The last term that we're going to talk about, it's actually an abbreviation that's used in the gym a lot. I put it in trainings and then I forget that clients don't necessarily know what it means. And this is RDL. So if you've been lifting for any amount of time, you know that RDL is a Romanian deadlift. Exactly. But we like to shorten things and make it easier when we're writing out programming. And sometimes we forget to just explain what that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's Romanian deadlift.
Romanian deadlift.
And we love them.
Yeah. We love leg work.
So.
That actually about wraps up all of our terms for beginners. These will help you get a head start in your programming and you will understand what your coach is saying to you.
Mm. And I'm sure there's some that I forgot. These are just off the top of our head. Little list that we came up with. If you can think of any, I mean, you can always shoot us a DM and say, hey, you forgot this one. Why not? Or
you can just send us a message and give us topic ideas, ask us questions. We'd be happy to answer them too. Yeah, and totally send our post to 10 of your friends and ask them to, follow us too. But whatever. I mean, whatever. So yeah, that about wraps it up for our 4th episode. It's close to lunchtime and I am hungry. Me too. So let's get us something to eat, and we will catch y'all next time. I'm James. I'm Brittany. Thanks for listening to Macros, Mindset, and Muscles. Until next time,
I'm James.
I'm Brittany. We're out.